for some football on Christmas Day. Can't wait to talk to Tom Pelissero here right now about what's going on with the Eagles. Big matchup for them, guys, an NFC East matchup against the Cowboys. Is it Jalen Hurts up against Zeke Elliott? Are those guys going to be out there?
Okay, as Eagles coach Doug Peterson said yesterday, obviously Jalen Hurts will be the starter again on Sunday against the Cowboys. He's thrown 4 touchdown passes, no interceptions through his first 2 starts. He's been a threat running the football. The game has not looked too big for him. Now, Peterson also was careful to say he's still going 1 game at a time. But let's be honest here, there's 2 games left in the Eagles season. If somehow they extend it, Hurts will have to be a big part of that. As for the Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott, he did not play last week after feeling a tug in his injured calf on Saturday. Tony Pollard stepped in, had a monster game. Coach Mike McCarthy said that Elliott should be further along than he was a couple weeks ago this week, so he is going to have a chance to play against the Eagles, okay?
Tony Pollard might win some fantasy leagues. Should you pick him up on waivers? Are there other running backs you can plug in for Zeke Elliott? I'll let you guys know with your waiver wire grabs a little bit later on in the show. Tom Pelissero, thanks as always for joining us and bringing the goods. Now we've got to talk about what we all learned in Week 15. Very educational as the playoff picture, Nate, comes into form. What do you got?
I'm going to take you to Cleveland, and what I learned is that Baker Mayfield is the perfect quarterback for the Cleveland Browns with a twist of pop culture. Check it out.
Whenever I'm about to do something, I think, would an idiot do that? And if they would, then I don't do that. Only 2 things I hate more than missing throws, and that's lying and skim milk. And skim milk's just water lying about being milk. Like he never stops going up. I mean, he jumped and just kept levitating. It's like a Super Mario double bounce. I don't know. They made great plays when they needed to. I think Miles took the approach of, real G's move in silence like lasagna. Just the mindset of trying to be just a bunch of big, hairy American winning machines is important. It goes back to, laying down the foundation of this team. Resilience is one of the things we wanted to do. And, yeah, every once in a while, if stuff's not going to go your way, you're going to get knocked back, and you got to creep back in and be able to overcome those penalties. We just have to, stay in there and realize that as long as we don't go chasing waterfalls, we're going to be in the game. Yeah, we don't want no scrubs. I mean, we got some dogs outside, so we got guys that we're very proud of.
Yeah, shout out to Baker Mayfield, quoting one of my favorite movies, The Other Guys. And they used to be the other guys. They're not anymore. The Cleveland Browns 2020 season, check this out. 10 wins, best since 07. Points per game, best since 68. Rush yards per game, best since 78. And passer rating, best since 1960. Why did I want to show you that? Because Baker Mayfield has been criticized so much. They've been on him. Sometimes he has talked too much, and he hasn't done enough on the field. I'll just say this. You can kick some serious butt while not taking yourself too serious. Baker Mayfield, you are in the perfect zone. Stay right in that pocket.
I love it. And it's funny watching it because you know that there's a whole bag coming and you don't know where he's going with it next. So if they win again this week, I'm sure we'll see it some more.
Right.
Those are great sound bites. Did you guys watch the Washington and Seattle game and how cool it looked on TV this week? It just looked different. It looked like a movie from the future. The video itself was a different quality. So what was this?
So
what was
cool.
This incredible work and the technical stuff? Well, I got the answers, and I did a deep dive with some folks at Fox. All right, so the producer of this game is a guy named Fran Morrison. The director is Brian Lilly. When you get into it, each producer and director has a crew, and the crew is the camera guys, the audio guys. So the technical director is a gentleman named Jared Lagrani, and Jared has been working with a camera that is called a Sony A7R4 with a Canon lens all season long. And they've done Arrivals, the guys walking through the tunnels, getting off the buses. They've used it for that, but Jared had yet to use it on actual game footage. This week, Jared gave that camera to his 2 shooters, a guy named Dave Hockmeyer and another guy named Mike Small. And he said, use this for the actual game footage. It's the first time it's ever been used, and it blew everyone away. You saw all the tweets. Mike Garafolo ran from wherever he was to find Mike Small, the shooter of the camera, and say, what are you using? Here are all the details. If you want it at home, it's a Sony A7R4. And I'll tell you this, it's not the crazy $20,000, $30,000 expense that you see from these cameras sometimes. It's actually affordable, relatively speaking, if that's the result. Fran Morrison's crew, which is Kenny Albert and John Vilma and Shannon Smake, they will be doing the Eagles and Cowboys this weekend. And I have already can confirm It will be used during that game. You will see more of that awesome footage. Eagles-Cowboys this Sunday.
Awesome.
I mean, even my dad, Triggs, was like, this looks
Christmas
amazing.
list.
It's like a video game. I was like, yeah, I was going to say Sony A7R4. Is that what it was, Triggs?
With a Canon lens.
I'm on it, bro.
A Canon lens. I'm into it. Absolutely loved it. Okay, I'm about ready for 2020 to be out the window, just like everybody else living in the actual world. It's been woofapalooza. Get it out of the way. And what I learned this week is that we have so much to look forward to in 2021, including maybe the most exciting quarterback carousel we've had in a while. Well, what do I mean? Let's hit you with some hypotheticals I jotted down here. Carson Wentz, obviously. We just heard from Tom Pelissero. He's been benched in the favor of Jalen Hurts, the rookie, and despite signing a monster extension back in 2019, his time in Philly may be up. What if Phillip Rivers hangs it up after this year? They get deep into the playoffs. He wins the Super Bowl. Who knows? Who knows? What if he hangs it up and Wentz can reunite with his old buddy Frank Reich in Indy? That's something that I think's been really missing from Philadelphia when Wentz had all of his success. Just putting it out there. No rhyme or reason to this. Okay, there's a lot of other ones too. Sam Darnold, for example, guys. Even if the Jets miss out on the #1 prospect, they could still draft another quarterback, right? They could draft another guy and move forward. I'm just throwing this out there. What if Belichick and McDaniels are like, man, maybe we could straighten Sam Darnold out, right? Maybe we could get him playing up to his potential. Crazier things have happened. Who knows? Mitchell Trubisky, probably the one I'm most excited about. Maybe he gets a new deal in Chicago over these next few weeks, earning his spot, getting his team into the playoffs. Or maybe he says, psych, see ya, I'm going to go Ryan Tannehill it, second act somewhere like, I don't know, Denver, where he could push Drew Lock potentially to play to his potential. That would be kind of fun to see him throwing out there in Mile High. I'd be down for that. How about Cam Newton, guys? Patriots experiment hasn't exactly fared so well in New England. Do they decide to give it another go? What do? We're hearing Matt Ryan, Matthew Stafford's names, guys who have been with their teams. They're associated with those logos more than some other quarterbacks in the league. They might be on the trading block. How could we forget about Dak Prescott, too? Cowboys hold out giving him a huge mega deal, right? They're sitting there. Does he finally get that deal, Jerry, or does he get to move on? There are so many endless just like ways to look at this, algorithms, if you will, in my head, Kyle. I'm just really excited for the months to come to see where some of these chips fall and where some of these quarterbacks end up.
God bless you. Nothing helps us in the offseason, Adams, like a nice carousel spinning round and round, and it could be one of the all-time ones.
Love it.
However, there will be one quarterback who is not on that carousel, and his name is Josh Allen. Let's all point our A7, R4s towards Buffalo, New York. Guys, I learned this week that Buffalo is a great team. Actually, I didn't learn that. I already knew that. They're great. I learned that they might be the deepest team in the league. They might be the deepest offense of all time. Did you know that the Buffalo Bills this past weekend tied a record for most players with a receiving touchdown on a team ever, with 13 different players once Jake Kummerow caught a TD on Saturday night? Let's get into it. They have had 13 players. Guys, you can only start 11 on offense. The math doesn't work. Jake Kummerow, his first catch as a Buffalo Bill, former Packer, becomes the 13th player to tie the record. But who are some of these guys? You know Stephon Diggs. You know some of the principals, Dawson Knox, Smokey Brown. Back in Week 5, who could ever forget when Josh Allen threw a touchdown pass against a great Titans team to who? He's taking his time like he doesn't want to. TJ Yeldon caught a touchdown for the Bills. Yes. TJ Yeldon from the Jaguars? TJ Yeldon got one. All right, who's up next? You saw him there for a brief moment. It takes a village, my friends, to get to 13. Red zone against Miami, another excellent defense. Let's just dial up Reggie Gilliam, because of course Reggie Gilliam needs to score. Who's next? Takes a lot. You can't just go to the stars if you want to get to 13. Against the Rams, another good defense. Maybe. Lee Smith. Not the Cubs right-hander, the closer. Lee Smith, like their 70th tight end. And you can't get to 13 unless you get really unconventional with it. Guess who else caught a touchdown for the Bills this season? Here it comes.
Who?
Follow 17, my friends. Throw it to Josh. Go, go, go. That's how you have more players receiving touchdowns than are allowed on the field for an offense. Give me the damn full screen. Look at how beautiful those are. 13 players. Now, as for sake of comparison, when I say they're the deepest offense in the league, the Packers have 9 players with a receiving touchdown. Bills have 13. The Chiefs, with all their incredible ingenuity and Bieniemy this, they have 8. The Buffalo Bills have 13, and you know who they tie with the record? What team? They tie a team we remember really well, my friends. Roll the team. The 2016 Atlanta Falcons also had 13. You remember this. This is the Kyle Shanahan swan song as a coordinator. This is going to be Julio Jones and Sanu and Hooper all the way to where? To the Super Bowl, to a 25-point lead in the Super Bowl. I don't think this is an accident that the Bills are this good and this deep with this stat. I mean, listen, I don't even know if we have time in the program to get into the Justin Hardy and Aldrick Robinson touchdowns. We're showing Devontae Freeman, for God's sake. My point is, Bills, excellent and deep. And I want to call out one player on the Bills. You have tied the record with 13. We need one more. Tywan Jones. I want a receiving